Muses and more morning musings. Yes, I am awake again, and I think I will be forever. And I'm very happy to be here, and for everyone that will be coming in and watching on the replay. Think again, we had a really good discussion yesterday, very lively discussion, and that's good because we need to throw these things out there. I should warn everybody that I am a teacher by nature, so I will be throwing things out and things that are for food for thought, seeing both sides, all of those kind of things, but I am pretty firm in what I believe and where I stand on things. And what I definitely stand on is to thank people that come into my chat. It is DJ Play Nice. Thank you for being here. Thank you for hosting. Well, thank you again for being here. I am nothing without the chat. You all are great and you have great discussions and thoughts and keeping me company, which I always love. Again, this is an open musing, so about what would you like to muse? Except, of course, I might be able, I might rather veto because I do have veto power over things. For example, things that will destroy my channel and my life, I will tend to not discuss. Also, my general rule of thumb is I do not gossip on my YouTube live streams about specific individuals, especially in the YouTube community, as they cannot defend themselves. Celebrities, major public figures are an entirely different story, as I said yesterday. So, how are you doing, DJ Play Nice? How are things where you are, and or how are you surviving the daylight savings time if it is affecting you? I do know that in Europe, it's not going to be for about another week, another 2 weeks, and I'm still wondering why we even bother. Why do we even bother? Let's see. It is Snorta Poopus Cooper. Hello, humans and other critters. Maybe that's why I'm up so early. Is because of the daylight saving time messing with my entire life and my entire rhythm. I'm hoping it'll get sorted out pretty soon. Everyone is saying hello to me. Yes, we love each other. We love each other here at Miss Martin Muses, and especially we love our animals. I love mine, even though right now he is half blocking my computer, but not completely. Also, today I want to say happily, both of my contacts are working, and already things are so much clearer as I'm reading the chat. So that's a good thing. Always is. Oh my goodness gracious. So what's going on in your lives? What's going on, Snorter Poopus? How's things out on the iceberg? Hope things are better than they are on the rest of us for planet Earth. Oh my goodness. If anyone knows anything about what's been going on with some of the stock market stuff yesterday, I caught that later in the evening and I'm like, I can't. No, thank you. I only knew that don't sell. You don't sell when things are starting to go crazy because then, oh gosh, I don't even want to think about that. I'll think about the stock market tomorrow. I'll be like Scarlett O'Hara, fiddle dee dee. It is DJ Play Nice saying DST doesn't really affect me. Daylight savings time. It certainly did when I was an hourly employee, man. I do not miss those days. Oh, hell no. None of us do. Yeah. A little bit of what the discussion yesterday. I do understand that you maybe can't expect to make $500,000 or something very unreasonable in your salary, but we need to make more than minimum wage for crying out loud. And if you could see some of the things that people have expected me to work for, and it's not just young people right now that are out of work, and it's like, what's going on? What's going on? I cannot accept work for 40 hours a day. I mean, that's the kind of things that I was being offered. And I'm like, are you serious? Are you serious? No. I mean, that's not being fussy. It's being, you're trying to take advantage. Trying to take advantage. It is a lovely Sherry. Hello. Thank you for being here. My furry butt is dragging this morning. Waking up is hard to do. Darn right. Good morning. Everyone is saying good morning. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So if anyone knows anything about stock market or anyone cares about it, please let me know. We've got lots of things. I got some things that I can talk about here. I have a presentation I put together about 4 or 5 months ago and just never found an opportunity to do it. So we might be going there. It is Orange Hat. I almost called you Orange Hat Reviews, but you are just Orange Hat now. Morning. Why, good morning. My cat is only halfway sitting on my computer, so I think my microphone is working and everything else. It is hello. It is hello indeed. I'm gonna go look at animals today. That's what I'm gonna be doing once I'm done here because animals are good. Unless they're sitting across your computer and messing with your microphone. So let's see. I'm still reading Wheel of Time. I wasn't able to read as much yesterday as I wanted to because life happened. What happened yesterday that was so lifey? Oh, I've been doing a lot of cleaning and putting things into storage. Sometimes people say, "Well, do you really need a storage?" And I'm like, "Maybe not, but what's the alternative? What, I clutter up my house?" Sometimes we need to look at things the way they are rather than the way things ought to be. In a perfect world, I would be Martha freaking Stewart and have the perfect house with no clutter. Or the way things are, get some storage to put the junk in and have my house look like a home and not a disaster area. So that's some of my thinking there. And maybe that's something I could throw out there. We need to look at things the way things are, not the way they ought to be. Because if you live by ought to be, you're setting yourself up for perpetual unhappiness or perpetual frustration. Let me know what your thoughts are about that. Maybe is there an area where you're looking at things are rather than the way things ought to be? All hail the putter tat. Am I missing something? See, I don't speak polar bear. Sometimes I know you have to translate the human language. It is a Adega Outlaw. Hello, a Adega Outlaw. Speaking of which, what the hell are you doing with your lives? Go buy his book and read some fantasy. Get out of this world and not fantasy that's going to bring you into this world. Speaking of things being brought into this world, holy crud. I accidentally came across one of the spots for the new Snow White movie. It is so horrible. So horrible. It physically hurt watching. And I think what's really wrong with this version of it, it's like 2011 is calling. The whole let's put a little bit of a modern spin on Snow White. Let's make her a leader. Let's do all that. Oh my gosh, they already did it in Once Upon a Time and did it better. Did it better with Jennifer Goodwin. And that little girl, Rachel Zwe Zwelger, whatever the hell her name is. She's not it. She doesn't have charisma. She's a very good singer. I will give her that. She's a very good singer. But my gosh, she's not a good actress at all. And she's been very unpleasant. She's a child. Who establishes ought to be? Oh, good point, DJ Play Nice. Thank you very much. Keeping it reasonable and realistic can be difficult. That is a very good point. Ought to be is usually established by people who have found it easy or have accomplished something. I always love this. I'm going to throw this out. I hope it's not a can of worms. You ought to have children and get married by the time you're in your early 20s. That's I did. I met my wife, I met my husband, and we had 2.5 children. Why can't you? Don't you know that's the time you wanna have babies? And you're like blinking, it's like, "Okay, I'm, happy for you." Or jobs, hope that's not another can of worms. I just worked hard and I was perfectly fine and I was able to retire from the same company. What's wrong with you all? People don't see outside of their own experience. I'll even throw this out maybe with something is spelled RACE. There is and has been in the past truism. And if you've never experienced it, or if you've never experienced true, not fake, not imaginary discrimination, you have no idea what it feels like. Oh my gosh. I sometimes run across this with the religion I follow. You guys are just being too sensitive. Come from someone that is from a majority religion and doesn't know what it's like. Ought to be. Ought to be is established by people that have es- found things fine. Maybe a slight example. Oh gosh, this might be a huge can of worms. I won't call him out even though he's a pretty much a public figure. Oh my gosh, all you have to do is calories in, calories out. And I'm sure that the entire planet of people having trouble doing that are like, "Thank you. I never thought of that." There was a really good stand-up comic that said, "Oh, all I have to do is not eat so much. I never thought of that." In other words, that it's easier said than done. And for those that it's easy, it's fine. Or people with alcohol. You wouldn't have become an alcoholic. You wouldn't have had a drinking problem if you'd have just drunk 2 drinks a week. And it's like, "Thank you. Thank you, Einstein." Maybe that's where the ought to be's are coming from. All right, we've got a translation. We have a polar bear translation. Putter tat equals cat. Oh, thank you. You're talking about my crazy cat that ruins everything. Miss Martin Muses says, Orange Hat Reviews. Believe me, I feel physically ill watching any part of that film. Rachel Zegler has completely made herself unlikable. Well, yeah, I mean, it's bad enough with her, but it's not just her. It's a dystopian nightmare. I can't watch 3 seconds of those dwarfs. They're I mean, I would rather watch that sequence from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory backwards and forwards over and over before I would watch any more of those dwarfs. Yes, there we go. Sort of poop is weird, weird, weird. She's a perfect example of someone that had everything handed to her on a silver platter because reasons and didn't realize it wasn't because of her. Ha! Can of worms here. You're seeing this a little bit with some certain ginger ungrateful royal and his wife. They didn't realize that they were popular and everyone was coming out and cheering because they were part of the royal family. And now that they're not, they're like, no one likes us anymore. No one ever wants to come out and cheer. It's like, yeah, they mistook the cheers they were getting that it was for them. Lovely Sherry says, when I think of Snow White, I imagine the most beautiful girl. Rachel sadly isn't that girl. No. But she's not completely ugly. But the way they have her in it makes her ugly. They rose Tico'd her. It was like, what will make her look horrendous? Let's do that. Here's a new theory. You heard it here first on Miss Martin Muses. This whole Snow White thing is really just a sabotage of Rachel Zeller, however you say your name. That's the only thing I can think of because you couldn't have planned it. It's a very expensive sabotage. Hello, Mars Monkey Max. That's another from one triple M to another. Everyone saying hello to each other. Thank you for being here. And thank you, everyone. And if you have not already, please like, share, and subscribe early and often. Yes, she is no Snow White. That was terrible casting. I agree. I agree. This woman has not had one successful movie. West Side Story was a flop of unnatural proportions, though that wasn't necessarily her fault. There were several things wrong with that movie. But first movie was a flop. The Song of Songbirds and whatever the Hunger Games was, complete flop. I can tell you for a fact I didn't see it because of her. And now this Snow White, there's not been one movie she's been successful in, but she keeps getting cast. I hope I hope they lose lots of money because you cannot feel sorry for people that have gone out of their way to shoot themselves in the foot and be very arrogant about it. Is Rachel wait, Rachel Percy Art is here. Wait, did I miss her? Yes, Song of the Estrogen Pillows. Where are you, Rachel? Orange Hat says Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes broke even, but did not hit the threshold to be considered a financial success. Yes. Okay, there she is. There she is. I thought, oh my gosh, because with my cat pushing all the buttons, if I banned anyone, by the way, if you randomly find yourself banned, please let me know because reasons. Yes, well, breaking even is not a financial success because, as you say, you're done. You got to make a profit, and you got to make lots of profit. And when you add in things like publicity, all of that, it's bad. It's bad. It already had a bit of a problem because, like, did we really want to see the story of this character, the character played by Donald Sutherland? I forget his name off the top of my head. And then you add her into it. It's like, okay, I may be wrong. Songbird of Estrogen Pill. I'm here. La la. Good morning. Yes, I see you now. I see you now. Thank you for being here. About what would you like to muse? I did promise that I might talk more about the job market and situation, but first of all, that will be a long one. I do have that prepared, but also with the stock market news yesterday, I'm thinking we need something a little bit happier. What's going to be the happier thing? Well, you will know in a second. Orange Hat says you have to break at least 20% above the break even point, I believe, to be considered successful. Yes, at least. And that's just successful, not necessarily profitable. I want to know who's behind Rachel. I really do. She must have someone powerful that says, you're going to cast this person. I stopped watching any Hunger movies at the second. Yeah. The books were great. Well, read all three, but the third one was so devastating. I was like, I can't handle it. And it's Chris Santh. We love our flowers here at Miss Martin Muses. Rachel Percy Art. Imagine breaking even in franchise that was known for making a ton of money for 4 solid films. Yeah. My knowledge is anecdotal that it was her fault. Maybe people didn't want to see something dystopian on Thanksgiving weekend. I just know in my case and in my circle, she was the reason we didn't want to see it. And she's the reason why I can't even watch it on streaming or high seas, whatever it is. It's just insufferable. And the worst first impression on the planet for this Snow White movie was what? Weird, weird, weird. How arrogant. She's the embodiment of the narcissistic generation. Rachel says, "Oh Lord, oh wait, the third book rips your heart out at the end of every act." Yeah, I was gonna say I just can't handle it. Cannot handle it. Orange Hat says the stock market issue. It's dipping because Trump was honest. Biden kicking the can down the road was a sabotage tactic to make the U.S. fall into session during Trump's presidency. Trump knew this. Yeah. Well, and in this case, I'm not necessarily saying any blame here, but thank you for the explanation. I did ask for an explanation at the beginning, but regardless, it's just not stuff I want to talk about right now. I already have enough doom and gloom in my life. Good morning. Good morning. 'Cause, I mean, we all know who to blame. And I think maybe yesterday I'm not necessarily calling out the chat, but in general, and people in my life as well, have mistaken when I point things out. I'm not necessarily criticizing. our side. Though I was criticizing one person because I think that he has issues, right? Especially when you're talking about, people in their 50s getting laid off. It's like, no, no, those aren't kids in their 20s. Those aren't kids, being self-entitled. And these are people that are about ready to retire. And there's nothing worse than suddenly finding yourself out of work in the mid 50s and knowing no one's going to hire you and you've got bills to pay and you've only got so much savings or you're only close to retirement. I said I wasn't going to talk about this because it's depressing, but there's a lot of people 40 plus that are getting out of jobs, and I'm not sure what to do about it. Well, you know what I did do? What I have done? I have written my representative and my congressman because I'm like, sorry, or my senator, because I really do feel sincerely that with the amount of layoffs that are happening, especially in the private sector right now, we need to help people get jobs. We can blame it on the previous administration, and in many cases, I do. I know where a lot of this is coming from, but we also still need to help people. In better news, egg prices dropped an average of 185. Woohoo! We enjoy that here. Yes. Hey, hello everyone. Yeah, but either way, I just can't handle talking about stock. So, about what are we going to muse? Well, I'm going to go ahead and bring up. Well, of course, I'll invite all of you to bring up topics that is open for discussion. But finally, what I put together a long time ago. Let me share this here. We are going to, my friends, talk about insecurity. Wait a second. I thought I just got done saying we weren't going to talk about other things, but this is actually a positive thing. I was wondering about insecurity. Why are people behaving the way they're behaving? Why do people get so uptight about even the smallest slight and feel like they have to go nuclear? There is a lot of truth, especially when you're dealing with online. Why don't you just ignore them? And I understand it's hard to ignore it maybe when someone is coming at you, but my gosh, I saw a certain situation and it was somebody that liked to deal things out, this individual. He liked to deal things out, but oh my gosh, the second someone came back at him, went nuclear. And that got me thinking, what makes somebody insecure? Why are they insecure? Because that's insecurity. Insecurity. So let's look at the definition of insecurity. Before we go on, they have sticks up their butt. Well, that too. Thorns up the sitter. Yeah, yes. I want to say this again. Yay for eggs. Well, the definition of insecurity is to have uncertainty or anxiety about oneself, a lack of confidence. I always cite my source, so there's my source down at the bottom. Insecurity is a common experience that might derail careers and keep people from meeting their full potential. All right. Thank you, Psychology Today. And in other news, grass is green and water is wet. But you got to start somewhere when you are going into a discussion like this. And kills confidence. Yes, it does. DJ Playneye says being unemployed and homeless increases insecurity. Yes. Oh, it's saying, do I want to enable dictation? No. Or maybe that was what my cat was just doing. And that's also going a little bit back to where I'm talking about when you have people that are getting unexpectedly laid off. Yeah, you're going to have a lot of insecurity. That's one thing. Homelessness makes you insecure too. Yes, definitely. And homelessness, well, that's a discussion for another day. I'll leave that somewhere else. Psychology Today coming in with the common sense. Yes. Sort of poop and squibber. I have absolute confidence in my lack of confidence. Yes, indeed. Everyone is sick. insecure about something. I like this line because it reminds me of what House's tagline from the TV show Dr. House, House MD or whatever it was called. Everybody lies. Everyone lies. Yes, they do. Everyone is insecure about something, and anyone that says they are not insecure about something is actually insecure. It's a paradox. If you have to go around talking about how secure you are, then you're not really secure. If you constantly have to get validation, are you really secure? You should be able to have validation from within yourself. And when you lose your crap at the slightest bit of criticism, that's definitely insecure. Chrisette says, I tend to drag my feet on things I'm anxious about. But I have some good friends who say, I'm here for you. Aw, then shove me in the deep end, so to speak. Yes. Yeah, you know what? That might be an example of should and is. People that have no trouble doing something are like, well, that doesn't make me anxious. Here's an example from college. I was like, listen, I got a test tomorrow. I want to stay in and study and all that. And this person was like, I don't worry when there's tests. Just go ahead and come out. And you don't really need to study. Or if you need to study, just pull an all-nighter. And I said, I can't pull an all-nighter. And it's like, well, I can pull an all-nighter. And I was like, congratulations. I'm really glad you can. I can't. All right. Yeah. Sometimes people don't understand why you drag your feet. Anxiety is real. I love House. To say you are not insecure is proof of your insecurity. That's right. Yeah. But yes, you are right. I drag my feet about things I'm anxious with too, because anxiety is behind it. Anxiety is behind procrastination. Yeah. On the other hand, when you have a positive experience with friends, yeah, sometimes you do need a friend, like Chrysanth was saying, to kind of knock you into some common sense. Insecurity can appear in various ways, including low self esteem, anxiety, depression, perfectionism, and its ugly cousin, procrastination. Wait a second. It's been a while since I've looked at my PowerPoint, and look at that. Wow, Chrysanth, you are a prophet. Self validation, says DJ Play Nice. Woo, can we roll into self actualization without it? Hmm. Just work harder. Oh, really? I didn't think of that. LOL. That yeah, that's another one. Yeah. My personal favorite about anxiety is, well, quit worrying about it then. Well, I never thought about that. Though, to show the flip side, I understand when people say that. It is true. Like, don't let it get you down so much. There is truth about that. But if you're reaching to a point where it's starting to affect your life, obviously you can't do that. You need some extra help. There she is, procrastination, my biggest challenge. Yes, like should and would and can be. Well, that's nice. What is? That's what I like to look at. What is? The way I get deal with procrastination is I have a list called WTF am I doing? And I just write it down and I have to do it. And by the end of the day, I have to cross it out. Now, could I be a perfect person and be able to get things done without doing something so mundane and so not laborious, but really can't I just get it done? Well, if I could, I wouldn't need something like what the fuck am I doing? And I also have my dice. I use my D&D dice. I have really found since I started playing D&D that using my dice for things like procrastination have also helped. Christine says, I'm so bad with procrastinating on personal things, but doing things for someone else, I rarely procrastinate. That is a very good point. It is a lot easier to do things for other people than to do it for yourself. Like, I have no problem taking care of someone else's house or doing housework for someone else, but doing housework in my own place, not so much. Orange Hat says there was an episode of House with a female presenting her hermaphrodite. That episode ended with a hilarious line. Oh dear. Yeah, House didn't give any FUCKSs. I relate strongly to that. So Brad about procrastinating on personal things. Yes. Sometimes if I need to make a tough decision, I flip a coin. Yeah. If that's what you have to do, that's what you have to do. I think I just get a bit annoyed with, well, I just do this. It's like, well, okay. I need to do this for me. Yeah, perfectionism is actually a sign of insecurity. As insecurity increases in any of us, so do the symptoms associated with it: anxiety, paranoia, fears of loss, instability, and an increasing need for reassurance begin to diminish our capacity to think and act effectively. Yeah, so insecurity affects how we think and how we act. And yeah, anxiety, paranoia, fears of loss, instability. Oh, an increasing need for reassurance. And I think that this is where you see this online, that the more insecure someone is, the more that they will fish for reassurance. If you're secure, you don't need reassurance. Fear, paranoia. Oh, don't we see paranoia, anxiety? Yeah, well, true anxiety, fears of loss. And you cannot think or act effectively or within reason. The two-faced coin from the Dark Knight. Oh, nice. Rachel Perciart says, I edited a friend's novel for free, while my own looks at me like, am I a joke to you? Oh, dear. Well, I hope you didn't get taken advantage of, because I don't work for free, even for friends. I found that out the hard way. I guess, though, it depends on what line of work you're in. Okay, so okay. We as humans have a built-in alarm system to protect them from harm. You know what? I don't have the beginning of this sentence here. I don't know why. When threatened, our bodies produce chemicals that help them, I'll say us, to survive by fighting, fleeing, or freezing. When the threat is vanquished, fears subside, and our bodies produce another set of chemicals that put them at ease. I think that what's going on here is the physical side of what's going on. So when you're insecure, you have all of these things, and sometimes you can get into a flight or a fight situation. People who have suffered trauma in childhood often have more intense fight or flight reactions when they feel threatened, or have been on the other end of broken promises, physical or emotional threats, or other losses over which they had no control. Yes, insecurity has to do with having a lack of control, and you will find fight or flight situations in them. And so sometimes when you encounter a fight or flight and you're like, dude, where'd that come from? That's what's happening. I also throw in attacks. If someone unreasonably attacks you or goes nuclear on you, that is a sign of their insecurity. If you lose your crap over someone's opinion, that says more about you than them. A secure person will be okay. An insecure person won't let it go. This is why social media, I think you see so many insecure people on social media, because social media is made for the insecure person. People that are secure don't need that validation. Many people, especially those who have suffered, are terrified of being discounted by those important to them. Yeah. So if you've suffered childhood trauma or something and you have something important to you or something important to them, yes, that is something that's valid. Okay. The fear of losing them. So I'm not necessarily knocking insecure people because I'm insecure. Everyone's insecure about something. But if this sometimes this fear of being discounted by those important to them will come out as anger and it will come out in an attack, and that is not good. Some people, whether from childhood trauma or innate characteristics, are unnerved by disharmony of any kind. They cannot tolerate tension or conflicts and avoid them whenever possible. They develop heightened accommodation tendencies whenever they face dissonance. Yeah, this is the other side of it. You sometimes people that are insecure will attack, but other people will also do whatever it takes to remove the disharmony, even if it's wrong, even if it's letting someone get away with something, because they fear dissonance. They fear things being shaken up. They cannot tolerate it because they can't deal. I've been guilty of that when some really bad things go on, and I'm just like, "Listen, I can't deal. I can't deal with this." Like, either sort it out or I'm gonna remove myself from the situation. Cannot deal with this kind of dissonance. Where it gets bad is when you allow people to walk all over you for it. Mars Monkey Max says it depends on how it's being used. Are people using it as a social outlet, business, or fame mechanism? Good point. Yeah. Talking about social media. I think maybe the most dangerous part of social media is where you're seeing people using it as a social outlet. If you're looking for validation online, you're not going to get it. Using it for business and for a fame mechanism, it's definitely very, very dangerous for a fame mechanism because you see how people respond. People will troll. Trolling is part of that. Trolling is even part of business. And I'm going to talk about the ethics of trolling one of these days. I've got it put together. I need to record it. So you can't deal. Then what? Good point. Well, the you can't deal means that you remove the sources of the dissension, of the dissonance. So, heightened accommodation tendencies. So, like for me, when I can't deal, often it may be that I will quit hanging out with a person for a while. If you're talking about on a friendship level. If you're on a family level, I found that sometimes I've just had to say, "Y'all need to knock this off." Accommodation, though, again, that's not necessarily a good thing because that means letting the person get away with the bad behavior because you just don't want the dissonance. Sometimes people use their anger as a weapon to wield over you. I always say, though, if you can, remove yourself from the situation. There's no shame with that. And you shouldn't look outward for validation, says Monk MMM. Yes, I would agree. That's part of the issue there too. Don't look outward, you need to look inward. And when people do look outward too much, they're actually signaling their insecurity. Learn to love yourself. Chris Ann says the internet is a strange place. On the one hand, especially as a woman, you can get inordinate amount of comments on both the extreme ends, either nice or not. Just don't be freaky about it. Yeah, that's a good rule of thumb for everybody. Don't be freaky about it. No one likes a creep. I've changed my attitude on a lot of these things since I realized how much manipulation really is going on, even with businesses. When I found out that a lot of things that were being presented as organic, they really have corporations behind them. It's like, okay, I'm being manipulated. I need to stay out of this. Because if you are insecure, or if you have tendencies toward it, things will be amplified. And nothing will be resolved, especially online, because the purpose is to keep things in a state of constant dissonance, because that's what makes money and people for their business. In your real life, it's a little trickier. We're going to get into some tips about what to do about it. Snorter Poopus Gruber says, I frankly get compliments usually about what a good bear rug I would make. Oh, well, the fur is so soft. Chrisanne says, people are so manipulative. I honestly don't trust much of anything I see online. Yes, definitely online. I am so black-pilled about online, you won't even believe it. I found out one too many situation that was completely manufactured. Most of what you see online is trolling and rage bait, and money's behind it. Money and corporations. Usually by people that pretend they're anti-corporation. Rachel Percy Art says, I had to cut 2 friends out because they were blaming me personally for US politics. Sadly, I feel better and less anxious without them. Yeah. Oh, I've experienced that. Well, what I love is people will immediately attribute attitudes toward you that aren't yours. It's like, I can't be with you, be a friend with you anymore because of your Trumpian views. And I remember going, when have I ever, what, first of all, what does that even mean? And it turned out it was pro-life stuff. And I was like, first of all, he's not really pro-life, if you even know what pro-life means. If you know what pro-life means, he's not. And second of all, pro-life has been around, like, in my church since the beginning, since we were fighting against what the Romans were doing, all right? So it was very unjust. But yeah, cutting them out because, well, someone that's going to cut you out because of US politics isn't really your friend anyways, if you really think about it. For one thing, this whole idea that we are all monolithic, we all think one way. I mean, I have to keep reminding myself that, for example, things that I'm seeing in Europe or even things with the EU or things going on in Ireland, and obviously does not represent every single Irish person any more than like CNN represents everything that America is believing, or under the Biden administration were that was the way we were under him. Like we all agreed with him. No, that's ridiculous. And the same thing with this current administration. Either way, this idea of cutting people out over politics, you need to be very, very careful of doing that. Rachel, sometimes that's for the best. It hurts too much, but it feels better later. Yeah. Money and Purpose says, I'm going to call you Triple N because my tongue gets tied. There are politically driven companies pushing ideology on all social media. Darn right. And people on our side, we do have so-called people on our side that are controlled opposition. They're just as in it as everyone else. Sort of Poopus Gruber says, I have one friend of longstanding who is the polar opposite of me. We agreed not to discuss politics. The truth is holding for now. Yes. Well, see, that's what grown-ups do. That's a sign of insecurity that someone's like, well, I can't be your friend anymore because I think we voted differently. That's a sign of insecurity. Yep. Well, speaking of Ireland, I said it and I was summoned. Potato Revan. Someone I used to stream with blocked me because politics, and then when I said I lean right versus right, I swear I killed her kitten. Huh? Yeah, I believe you. Dang it, did the chat jump? And can I go back? I might have missed somebody. Here we go. Oh, it jumped back again. Yeah, especially online. And sometimes I think we get too into what is happening online is real. Yes, it is real and it has real emotional effects. But on the other hand, it's people okay, let me reframe my thought here. It's very easy to treat people like crap online because you're not seeing them. Orange Hat says, I blocked a family member because she said she they missed in July 2024. I told that when she got help and learned to be less of a monster, I would talk to her again. All right, I think that there was a typo in there. Help me out. Yeah. What really frustrates me about what Potato Revan is saying, I find that the toleration is a one-way street. Like, we will tolerate and still be friends with people on the left, but they will not reciprocate. That's why we always have to walk on eggshells, the witch hunty aspect of things. Even today, it's like you're a secret club. It's like, oh, and it doesn't, you don't even have to be like right to be considered right anymore. You just have to say, maybe during the last administration, you didn't agree with something and you were like saying it in whispers. Yeah. Sometimes it can work. Everyone's saying hello to Potato Revan. Why, hello, everyone. Yes, we love our potatoes here at Miss Merton Muses. All right, let's see what the next slide says. Whoops. Okay, I've got to move somebody. Let's get to what to do about it. So now we have some definitions. Let's see what we can do about insecurity, because I always like to come up with solutions. But before we do, Potato Reverend says, my cousin texted me after all that's going on here, said, I'm so sorry I didn't see it. Oh. Orange Tech clarifies she said she was sad they missed back in July. Sorry for the typo. Oh, well, that makes sense. That makes sense. Okay. Because I was thinking missed the 4th of July or something. Yeah. Well, that's just a little bit crazy because no matter how you feel about people, to wish that's kind of messed up. Rachel Percy-Art says, I think the big problem is that a lot of these people have literally nothing else going on. They have made political disagreements their life. Yes. DJ Play Nice is giving us a quote. It's hard to repay the tolerance that you borrow. Yeah. Well, I've always said if tolerance is not a true two-way street, it is not tolerance. Pope Benedict XVI talked about the dictatorship of relevance. Not relevance. Relativeness. Relative things is a dictatorship. I totally butchered that. Sorry. First of all, accept your imperfections. You know what? You're imperfect. You know how you know you're imperfect? You're a human. Accept it. When people try to pretend they don't have the imperfections, that's a sign of insecurity, or try to hide it. It's like, no, I'm really like cool and strong. It's like, the more you say that, the more you're not, and just accept it. I know my imperfections. I know my weaknesses. I know my insecurities. Accepting and even embracing our imperfections can help us feel more secure in ourselves and our abilities. That's right. Yeah, it's almost a paradox. Like the more you accept your imperfection, the more secure you will feel. We enjoy paradoxes here at Miss Smart Muses. Sort Poopas Kuber says, I seriously despise the current occupant of the Vatican and its politics, but I don't wish him ill. Yeah. It has been a very difficult papacy. We might be talking more about this in the near future considering his current health. It's been bad. Monk Triple M, yeah, but if you hear that in Plain Ice's voice, it sounds more like Clint Eastwood threatening you. Perfect, but Potato Reverend says, "But I'm perfect. I'm just a sentient potato." Damn right. I thought I was wrong once, but I was mistaken. Good one. Rachel Percy Art says, "Exactly. I've always been conservative compared to most of my friends and generally just tolerated their views. But since January, I've had to shut down my messages. It was a one-way street for sure." Yeah, damn right. It's like we have to tolerate all your crap, but the second I'm just like, well, since you're a Catholic and pro-life and that's Trumpian, well, I need to cut you out of my life. It's like, what? Yeah, yeah, one-way street. Or at work or anything like that. Everyone else can be very open but the second you even say something that slightly could be considered. Yeah. Which shows they're actually not tolerant, which shows they're insecure. I lost trust in real media back in the 80s. I have stories. I'm sure you do, Adega Outlaw. Yeah. Oh, I lost trust. Yeah, close to the 80s. It was the early 90s. It was during the 1992 election that I had my eyes opened. But boy, I can't believe I was fooled by the new media. I was fooled by influencers. The fact that influencer now has a bad connotation says a lot. And I can tolerate trolling maybe from the other side, but when it's coming from our side, from my side, I can't tolerate it. It's not funny. But when you really look at it, it's just all about money. All right. Oh yeah, we talked about the paradox of embracing your imperfection. Because first of all, you're not hiding it. You think you are, you're not. Just embrace it. I'm gonna mess up about this. And if need be, I'll even apologize. It's like, I'm sorry. But we are not perfect. Identify the root cause. What I call, what is the question behind the question? Like when someone loses their with you. And it's like, whoa, where'd that come from? Are they really arguing with you? Even with politics, are they really arguing with you about politics? What's behind it? What did I just trigger in that person? And the same thing we need to do with us. Like if you're the kind of person that wants to accommodate to get rid of dissonance at all costs, what's behind that? What's behind you not feeling comfortable in certain situations? What's behind your insecurity? And actually, sometimes just by naming it, you deal with it. Triple M says, I find that people tend to jump straight to keywords or phrases when they feel threatened or blocked by some sort of wall. All the isms, there's always a keyword. Yeah. So much that those words have lost their meaning. I lost trust in schools in civics, says Potato Reverend. We learned about state media. I asked, but can't the government push their stories in the news? If it's state, teacher said, yep, the state controlled the media. It's propaganda. Darn right. Yes. And here you're of course referring to the RTE, Radio Television. BBC is the same. And here in America, technically, we don't have a state controlled media. Technically. Yeah. State controlled media. I remember I had a discussion with a fellow teacher back in the late 90s where they would do news for the students. I said, that just horrifies me. And the person was like, why did that horrify you? And I didn't get a chance to answer him because we were in a meeting. But it's like, that's unfiltered. That's a form of state news. And if that's what the kids are getting as their news, like, how are we sure that it's objective news? Who's writing that news? Who's doing it for the students? Same thing with humans. Oh man, things are jumping here. Let's see. Let me go back. Snorta Poopa says, I don't like everything about the current president, nor do I always agree with his policy comments, but I do generally support him. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's the way I am. I talked about that yesterday, though I wasn't so much talking about him, but I was talking about Musk. But neither of them have a prudent bone in their body. And like it or not, you have to be prudent. Because if you're not prudent, even when you're right, you can be wrong. But how do I say this? No matter where your support is for this current administration, he didn't invent it. He didn't invent fairness and sovereignty and rule of law. He didn't invent, like I said, he didn't invent pro-life. He didn't invent religion. He didn't invent it. And so when people see these things in you and they attribute it to a man, for lack of a better word, first of all, it's incredibly insulting, but it's also stupid and it's not fair and it's weird. It's almost like what they accuse us of deifying a man. It's like, I'm not the one making him God, but you sure are. It's almost like the joke, Trump drinks a glass of water, and then they're like, you know who else drank water? And they show a picture of that Austrian. Yeah. And I will die on the hill that anyone can and should and must be criticized. Anyone that is above criticism, it is not a leader. It is making someone your God. That's what's behind our First Amendment. And if I feel like people that I have voted for and still support are going wrong, we owe it to show them where to at least speak out. And I understand the sentiment that a lot of people feel because we were so crapped on for so long, and we really do want to get rid of the deep state and all that, that it can be interpreted. How do I say this? We can be hypersensitive, and I'm not talking about necessarily anyone in my audience right now. It was more a family member, just so he was so sick of the constant criticism that me even saying, "Hey, he shouldn't be saying this," reacted in the similar way to like when someone from the far left might say something unreasonable. It's like, and the person apologized to him and said, listen, I'm just so sick of hearing the criticism. And that's unfortunate because of all that bad criticism. I think that it makes people not open to good criticism. There is such a thing as good criticism. Chrisanne says, so many people are influenced by money. It's really concerning. I can't tell if it's because more people are struggling or if more people are self-centered. There are people that are struggling. When I do my thing discussing the unemployed numbers in the private sector, it will shock you. If then again, a lot of people that are in my chat are already informed, so maybe you already know. And then you add to what's going on in the public sector, it will terrify you. On the other hand, the kind of money I'm talking about are the people that use trolling, use rage bait, use simping. Oh, sorry. Every time you hear me go, "Oh, for," and stop saying a word, it's because of you know who. Every time what's going on with them is it's the seduction of money. The idea that all you have to do is say a few snarky things or say a few rage bait things, even say things that aren't true, that you know aren't true, or bringing up an old headline, knowing you're going to upset people and knowing it's an old headline and it's even been resolved. Calling people names. If you know that by doing that, you can make a certain amount of money. Someone disclosed how much they made a month, and I believe them on X when you look at the numbers. $10,000 a month to do what? To just be snarky, to rage bait. That's seductive. It's addictive, it's seductive, and it's evil. Love of money is the root of all evil. I think that what we're talking about here is the love of money, and it is dangerous. And Biggles is here. Hello, hello. Your Barmy is here. Woohoo! How's the future, everybody? The Biggles says the world is just bibliophobic just because I'm Biggles and they know better. Well, yes, I agree with you. We are bibliophobic. Virgin? Yep, and Virgin Media and TJ4. Oh, I thought you were talking about virgins. Nothing wrong with being a virgin. Yep, and Virgin Media, yes. NPR, MSNBC, and ABC. Yeah. Now, technically, National Public Radio is state-run radio, and unofficially CNN, MSNBC, and ABC. But I'll tell you what: do not be fooled by Fox News. Do not be fooled. Let's see. Problematic and toxic are their favorites. Oh, yeah. Remember, I'm still waiting for us to be toxic fans. I haven't seen Warner Brothers come out yet and label us that because of the Snape issue, but I'm just waiting. Channel 1 News, any chance? Had to watch it every morning, first period. You remember that. That's exactly what I was referring to. It horrified me, not necessarily because I was seeing always things I disagreed with, but the idea that public school, that was like public propaganda, because you can have something be absolutely right, but just by omitting things. Like you could lie by omission. You can lie on media. You can have propaganda sometimes just by omission. Potato says, Irish PM, we need to give up on this backwards idea of sovereignty. Oh my gosh, I am so sorry for you all over there. Your Taoiseach. Well, when's the last time you had a good Taoiseach? Help me out here. Help me out. Oh, it just breaks my heart. You said that while Biggles was also drinking water. Ha ha, that's a freaky deaky, deifying a man. Yes. You said that. Oh, wait, I already said that. Obsession goes both ways, says Chrysanth. You can love someone or hate them, and it's the same thing. Darn right. Look at Heathcliff and Kathy from Wuthering Heights. At least your governors voted and mine got in via coalition, not votes. I know. People need to be cautious when they say, well, you voted for this. And actually, no, they didn't. Like, to use a number I know from England, from UK rather, that Labour only got like 22% of the vote, but they won because of coalition and all those other things. So it would be like, let's just say we elected Trump. And then Nancy Pelosi, rhinos, I don't know, Liz Cheney, she had a party and they had a party and they had a coalition that made him win. Or rather, I think the analogy would be better. It wasn't that Trump won, but it would be like Harris got the votes she got, but because she was able to make a coalition, she would have become the prime minister of America, if you will. Yeah. So coalition issues, it must be so frustrating because it does not reflect the will of the people. Hello, it's Lorena Creole. We're talking about insecurity. A woman who is not insecure, or she is. She's hiding it well. No, we love Lorena Creole. She is a beam of sunshine, and she doesn't put up with no bullshit. Morning. Everyone's saying good morning. Everyone's saying hello. If I'm behind a little bit, I am behind a little bit. I think these pranks need to stop. People are more complex, three-dimensional, need more dignity than be used as reaction bait. You know what, Conroy? That might be one of the most accurate things I think I've seen you say in my chat. This is a very good point. Yeah, pranks are not okay. The big prank about the binder gate, that practically broke me. Because I'm like, okay, I'm done. People are more complex and three-dimensional and need more dignity than to be used as reaction bait. And I would add about all reaction bait, all rage bait. I've done several things about rage bait, like how you can find rage bait. Yay, look, everyone's saying hi to Lorena. If you have not subscribed to her, please do. I always use trolling. It's so much fun. I do nothing for money except hooking. I mean, my job. Well, oh, wait. Oh my gosh. I'll get to that in a second. I always use trolling, so much fun. I do nothing for money except for a major. Well, you see, Biggles, you're not big enough to make trolling work. You you need to get more subs. That abuse, kid in third grade, I don't like trolling anyway. Well, okay. Well, again, sorry for the way things are jumping up and things are so crazy, but we do, Precious, have a super sticker, and it is from Dreaming Tabitha Live. She is giving us a cup of coffee for $4. Thank you, Dreaming Tabitha. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. And everyone go subscribe to her. She is killing it on her channel. She does all sorts of cool things, especially art and crafts, and just generally will make you feel like a better human being. And you, Miss, get a rose. Oh, not a like, share, and subscribe. Here's your rose. Thank you, Dreaming Tabitha, for your super sticker. Chrysant says, I troll and tease, but I always back it off if it turns into a dog pile. Yeah. Well, and again, we're talking about people with huge followings. Like, there's a reason I keep saying you'll see the same meme being repeated every month because it makes money and they think it's funny. And it's not funny. You're dealing with people's real lives. Well, pranks and trolling are different. I would say no. No, they're not. Okay, the methods are different. But online stuff, I think they're more similar, but they both come from the same poisoned well. Pranks are never funny and trolling is never funny. Why, look who's never funny. No, he is funny. No, he's a stoic Norwegian. It is Steve Kenobi. Hello, Teresa. I do hope you're perfectly splendid today. Well, I am. I'm very insecure. $10,000. I'm definitely doing it wrong. Yes. Look at people's analytics. Look at the millions of views they get. And I've been begging people, don't fall into their trap by quote tweeting them. Quote tweeting them is giving them money for what they're doing. I remember there was somebody that posted something that was completely wrong. It was an atheist, but one of those atheists that are French showers. Said something completely false about Christianity and history. And everyone lost their crap and all that. And she goes, thank you. You all responded exactly the way I wanted to. My bank account thanks you. Yes. Whoop. Lorena said it. Okay, I'm behind on the chat here. I'm gonna try to catch up. Fox News is controlled opposition. Mhm. It's on TikTok. We're called "Ist" because of our opinion. Alright, yeah. I will take your word for it because I might lose my blood pressure if I watch it. But keep up I know it sounds awful, but, keep up the good fight in Ireland. I mean, my heart is with y'all. Birdie Ahern. Pre-Birdie Ahern. Lorena might be spot on about Fox. I will say no might about it. Wish people knew that they had more important to Christ and they wouldn't be dismissive. I think I get what you're saying there. Oh, everyone's saying, "How are you?" Potato Raven says they tell us Trump won by 2%. Hmm. Oh, Insecurity says Biggles. Is this actually the first time the subject isn't about Biggles? I don't even pay attention. Oh, yeah, because you are a narcissist. Everyone's saying hello. I guess it's afternoon for you, Steeg. It is indeed. Ah ha ha ha. People are laughing. I keep losing subs, which is nuts, says Orange Hat. Don't discount bots. I will randomly lose subs, and I'm like, "What'd I do?" And I go, and there's nothing I did or said. Something was happening on X recently. Hell yes, it was. Not just yesterday, but the tweaking of the algorithm that's going on right now, and the fact that you really won't be seen if you don't have the check mark, if you don't have premium, and that you will not be seen if people mute you. Like, if a large account mutes you, that will count against you. Zeke says, I accidentally trolled with a Hulk video I made you once. Yes. You see, if that had been on purpose, you would have been a French shower. But yeah, his Hulk video, just was making a joke. And was it because maybe there was some news? No, it was the Indiana Jones one where there was some news. I lost 7 subs over 4 days. That was after 2 former friends cut ties. Oh, well, then maybe there is some possibility. Sometimes I do think that individuals maybe sub to me and then they realize, oh, well, maybe this isn't for me. Like, they might have subbed to me because of my House of the Dragon content, and then I'm going back to letters and Catholic explaining and crochet, and they're like, okay. So sometimes I think that subs genuinely are just lost. Same, I lost 5 subs, which only I had 14. Yeah, I did. I lost some subs when I was gone and having issues. I lost subs in where was it? 5 subs. Yeah, I didn't have any content. That does affect people. Oh dear. Oh dear. I have a total of 3 subs, and I don't do anything. Orange Chat saying my last 5 subs, well, I only had 14. Dear. Okay. All right, we gotta keep this going because I am gonna be seeing animals. So, it may result from past negative experiences for other wait. Oh, okay. This is what to do about it. Insecurity may result from past negative experiences, while for others, it may be due to self-imposed expectations when dealing with in-person or online societal pressure. Okay, it's referring to your root cause. I got distracted. This is like an ADHD stream. Identify the root cause. The root cause might result from past negative experiences, self-imposed expectations when dealing with in-person or online societal pressure. Yeah, do not succumb to online pressure or societal pressure. Unless it's what I call positive pressure. And positive pressure would be where you have individuals who are letting you know you're doing something wrong and you're jolly well wrong. You need to be checked. There's nothing wrong with being checked. Build self-confidence. I'm gonna be a little bit cranky. I'm pointing the finger of judgment at you. Yes, I am. I'm pointing the finger of judgment a little bit at Psychology Today. Build self-confidence. Wow, I never thought of that. I'm sitting here being insecure thinking, I just never thought I should just try to build self-confidence. However, it's true. I like this one. I like this one a lot. Set small goals. Set small goals. Don't give yourself big goals. Or if they are big goals, make sure they're reasonable big goals. They're realistic, they're good, and they're wholesome big goals. If you try to set a big goal that's unrealistic, you are setting yourself up for failure and more insecurity. But set small goals, small victories. Here's a good example. I'm going to use a dog as an example. My sister's dog. Okay, this dog has problems, but he really behaved himself well. Where there was another dog in the other backyard acting like an idiot, barking at him, and I had a puppuccino I'd brought him from Starbucks because he's spoiled. And I was gonna give him the puppuccino. Once he actually ran to be an idiot with the dog, but this time around he said, "I'm going for the puppuccino, and I'm gonna sit down and be a good dog to get the treat for the puppuccino." So I sat and I petted him, was like, "What a good boy, what a good boy. He did the right thing." And I found we went out walking too, and he ran across a dog who was acting like an idiot, and he decided not to act like an idiot back. Maybe he had that memory. Small victory, small goals. Here's a small goal for everybody. Let's learn from this dog. Don't be an idiot. Oh, Chrysanth says, "I'm so glad I was able to meet you in Orlando. It was fun. Don't join groups. Never good." Yes. It's okay to push back if it's done diplomatically. True. The tabletop people are fun. It's biggles, not big goals. Thank you for that. I said small girl this year, says Orange Hat, no pizza, soda, or candy for 1 year, and I can proudly say I've done well so far. Woohoo! Yeah, that's why Lynch's so fun. Thanks, Stig. See, Stig knows it's always about me. Yes, I spoil my sister's dogs too. I started using the TikTok app browser to make little checklists with deadlines so I can stop procrastinating. Yeah, and that's where I'm saying social media is not all bad. For one thing, I look at all the youth fine people here. I would never have met you all, and many other good people. Fun fact: my Pathfinder character is a dog. Well, good for you. Yeah, dogs are cool. We like dogs here at Miss Smart Muses. And so set small goals for yourself as well. And don't compare yourself. Like I see this a lot in the YouTube sphere. Well, so and so got 100,000 subs and we started at the same time. It's like, well, then you're going to be pretty insecure about yourself because that's one hell of a goal. And also, don't forget, not all of these things are organic. I learned something from who was it? She's a big enough YouTuber, so I'm going to talk about her. The one who had the comment section. Now, she worked hard on that. I'm not taking anything away from her. But it was a while before I found out she was actually being backed, subbed, all that stuff by the Daily Wire. I promise you, if I had the backing of the Daily Wire, worked my butt off and had people to do my makeup, do my stuff, do my producing, even do my scripts, I would probably at least have 100,000. Okay. So don't compare yourself in the YouTube sphere. You learned it from me probably. There you go. It's all about you, Biggles. Yeah. So don't sell yourself short. Be happy with who you are. Grow where you are planted. And with that in mind, I'm going to go ahead and right before I do, Biggle says, if I had the backing of the Daily Wire, I would probably disown myself. Well, not to burst anyone's bubble. You'd be amazed at who has the backing of things like the Daily Wire, the Blaze, etc., etc. Hey, oh my gosh, Gorilla Censored Thought, it says here. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. Sort of poop is Kruber. Never put off to tomorrow what you can avoid doing altogether. Darn right. Darn right. He's got it. Listen to the polar bear. Everyone's saying hello to the gorilla. We like the gorillas here. We like all our animals here at Miss Martin Muses. Okay, so yes, I am going to be doing something fun. And after I kill my... No, I'm not going to kill my cat. He's cute. Here's a good one from Steek. Don't sell yourself, period. Ones have expiration dates. Darn right. And if you get in bed with a harm, you might catch something. And not something that's good. Everyone's saying hello, hello. All right, can I get this taken care of? I can. All right. So here's the story, kids. Here's the story. I do have to go. I love visiting with you all, but that's the only way I make money. I do not want to know, Biggles. I really don't. Is this your way of telling me you have an OnlyFans account? I want to say thank you to everyone for being here. I really could not do any of this without you, and for sharing your time with me this morning. I'm going to go through my litany here. I think it's very important to let people know that I appreciate you and all the support that you've given me this morning. So here we go. We have Biggles, we have Steeg, we have Gorilla Censored Thoughts, Sort of Poopus Crew Bird, DJ Play Nice, Chris Santh, Mars Monkey Max, Conroy 1776, Orange Hat, Adega Outlaw, La Reina Creole. Much love to you all, guys. Yes, much love to you. Potato Revan. And great group of people. Dreaming Tabitha Live. Thank you for the $4 super sticker. We had, I think I got to most everyone. If I missed anyone, it is not intentional. It's just the way things sometimes roll here. Have a great day, everyone. Yes, everyone do have a great day. And wait, I think I might be able to go back a little bit further, but I think I said hello and thank you. Oh, Rachel Percy Art. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here and for your support and for your comments. Your Barmy, thank you. I'm really happy that we were all able to spend our mornings with each other. I'm going to request a small raid. I'm going to put this here in the chat. Hi, all. Be safe. Have fun. Take care of your crew and rock. Yes. Mrs. Dadman Walking. I'm going to put her link here in the chat. Go ahead and raid her. She's gotten to 500 subs, and I'm assuming she needs some watch hours. So tell her I sent y'all over. Yeah. Say hi. Stick around for a little bit. At least give her a view. So I want to thank everyone. Always thank you. Have a great day, everyone. Have a great day, and be certain to not be so daggone insecure.